G'day and welcome to Duckzorly Gaming. Today we have a Lord of the Grass special. I say that jokingly, in the fact that I refer to myself and have now been known as the Lord of the Grass. Anyway, what we're going to do today is have a look at some of my favourite configurations and equipment that I use for both solo play and also for my Let's Plays. So we'll get into that and have a look at all these different options that may or may not help you in your gameplay. And we'll get into these right after this short message. Well, it goes without saying, we know that being Lord of the Grass, I have a penchant for mowing. Now, mowing basically in Farming Simulator 17 is fairly basic at the broadest level term. And my current preferred equipment at the moment is, as much as I don't generally like the John Deere, I do like the John Deere mowing mod that's available. This mod, if I go over here to the Mowers, the F350R and the R990R, not that they perform any better, they're any different to the Pottingers or the Lilies, but I just like them. I just like the look of them. They look nice, modern, sleek, all that sort of stuff. The other one I normally would use is the Lilies. I think I just said Lilies. Anyway, the Splendimos. There's the basic mowing configuration. But of course, the main beast, the main thing that I use is from GTX Mods. The Krone, or Krona, depending on who you talk to, Big M. So he's just sitting above the ground a bit high. That is the mowing vehicle of choice. It is spectacular, it is fantabular, it is just great. You'll see me in Farmer Klein stream or anyone else's stream. I will not shut up about the Big M. But it's a wonderful unit. So yeah, that's what happens there. So I won't hide my adoration of it. So let's get started. So with the Big M, there's a few different things you can do with it attachment wise and configurations. So we'll reset these ones out of the way and we'll get started on the next one. So I'll be right back. So next we have the Big M with a tedder at the rear. So the Big M here is basically in normal configuration. It is using the extended hitch. So the extended hitch, if you aren't already aware, under miscellaneous, you have the GTX Mods extended hitch. Okay, that enables you to attach an implement to the rear without being too close to the mowers. So it actually gives you that little bit further of a distance. However, in doing that, it does make it very whippy. All right, so be aware of that. It makes the back end very whippy. So what I do in this configuration is I always turn off all steering, which you can turn off with Control and Y, and then it only then gives you, as you can see now, I've only got the front wheel steering. Okay, whether or not I have anything at the back end, I always turn off all wheel steering when I'm mowing anyway, just to give a better cut and a bit better control, unless I'm in a really tight space. Okay, so to get this to work, you need a single point, or I can't remember what that's called, to a 3-point linkage. And to do that, what we've used is it's a component out of the Big Bud Pack, the DLC. So if you come across in here into the plough, was it ploughs? Yes, there we go. The trailed lifter. Okay. So it basically takes you from a single point hitch to a 3-point hitch, which is what enables us to use the tedder on the end. So the tether I've got on there is just the basic small tether, and that is, where are we? Just the Vicon Fanex 604. So he's just the 6 meter one. Which is all you need. Okay, so we'll quickly just give it a run just to show you what it's like. So engine started. Are on. Tether's on. Okay. And away we go. So it will just sit by nicely and take my grass and tether it very quickly. Okay. The good thing is it also doesn't make it too much of a mess. It actually generally keeps it pretty closely aligned to its windrow that comes out. So, which is quite handy. Okay. So if you look behind, there we go. Fairly neat. The corners are a little bit different, but get a bit messy, but that's what it is. Okay. So that's the basic windrowing function that I do. Okay. So just bear with me and we'll go to another configuration. So next configuration again is very similar to what we just saw. It's the standard big M with the extended hitch, with the 3-point attacher or converter, and then it's got this funny little contraption at the back end. Okay, what is it? It is the Vicon hay bob. Actually, that one might be the PZ hay bob. Anyway, it's one of these. So basically what this is a very small 6 meter width, sorry, 1.2 meter width rake and tether. So basically it will fluff up your grass and then windrow it again. So it does the two functions in one. Very small footprint, and it's just perfect for the back end of the big M. As long as, again, you're not doing huge fast turns that can just throw it everywhere. Alright, so that's another configuration. This is one I've been using recently, which is it's a great little attachment. So we'll demonstrate this one as well. Okay, and off we go. So starting to mow. So as you can see, if it is a little bit harder to line up and get it all sorted, but once you actually are generally if you're in a straight line, it does a pretty good job. Okay, so small footprint, easy to use, cheap, low maintenance costs, all that sort of stuff. So if you're watching your money in that regard, it's a good little tool to use. Just be aware, don't do really sharp turns. So as you can see, if I do a sharp turn here, it'll start to lose some of it. Okay. Other than that, it's a great little addition, and it's one that I've been using a fair bit of. So yeah, hopefully you might like to use that one. And all right. So bear with me and we'll be back with another one. So the next configuration again is just the standard big M, extended hitch, and this time we have a standard loading wagon. Okay, this one's the bigger Strautmann loading wagons. So you can see it's the Terra Vitesse from Strautmann, which is $131,000, 21,300 litre capacity. Okay, very basic, very simple. So with this one, we just run around, mow our grass as we normally would, but collect it directly into the trailer. Okay, put that up running, and off we go. So there we go. So that's another configuration where we just mow the grass and collect it straight away. Very handy for when playing seasons. I know, for instance, my good friend Jerry, Grizzly Bear Sims, used this one. He actually used it today. I think it was in one of his videos he released, or yesterday. just purely to make sure that you can mow a field of grass, collect it, and then get it stowed away before you have any inclement weather or anything that whittles away your grass. So very basic, very easy to use, and definitely a must have. So all right, we'll go on to the next one. This is one of the last configurations I have with the BM, or various configurations that I do, and this is just basically a baling configuration. So we effectively will take the grass and bale it straight away, whether it be grass bales or turn them into silage bales. So this time we're using the Coon DLC baler with wrapper attachment. So it'll automatically take the round bale, wrap it, and then dump it. Well, actually, at the moment I've only got the manual dumping, so we have to dump it. Okay, so again, it's via the extended hitch. So I'll start up the mower. Start up the baler, lower the feeder, and we take off, and we should start making some bales. Again, you need to be very careful though in the turns. The preferred method would be to actually to stop cutting and baling. Obviously that beeping is saying that I'm nearly loaded. There we go. So it comes up. And we continue on. Once it's wrapping, you can't actually continue baling or collecting into the wrapper while you're extruding the bale from the baling function to the wrapper, as you can see there. So we unload it, brings the next one in, and then we continue on. Now I have been of late using the Krone Ultima, or the big stack, I think it's called, the other big Krone baler without the wrapping function. But yeah, as you can see, you can basically use any baler, wrapper combination or whatever behind it that you like. Okay, so that's basically the configurations that I use for the Big M. So we'll move on to some other equipment now. Our next configuration is my most basic mowing configuration. Now it does vary a little bit, but generally this is just any tractor with a front hydraulic attachment. I have the pottingers, the single and the double head pottinger, which are stock standard game issues, the Novacat 301 ED and the X8 ED. And then behind that, I also then have, from the Coon DLC pack, the Merge Max 902 windrower. Okay, so basically I love using this one, particularly for getting large windrows side by side. So what we'll do is I'll just show how I do that. Actually, I don't have the, normally I'll use the GPS mod, but I don't have a GPS mod enabled. So what we'll do is do alternating rows, and this windrower can be configured to windrow middle, left or right. I've currently got it configured for the left, so we'll have to do this by hand, but you'll see what I mean, as in I can get two windrows stacked up, so it makes a nice big windrow stack. So I will get started. There we go. So now we should be off we go. So as you can see, the windrow is pushing it out to the left now. It is wider than the mowing, so you can get a bit of overshoot here, overlay, but that's generally not too much of an issue. So just for the sake of the example, come to the end of the line, turn around, we do our next run, and it will windrow it all on top of each other, so you get a larger windrow to collect. So instead of doing two runs, you're doing a single run, picking up more grass in one go. Okay, so that's a very basic configuration, but it's one that I quite often fall back and use when I'm not using the Big M, which is very rare. Okay, we're off to the next one. So next on the list of preferred stuff for a lot of the grass is this configuration here. Farmer Klein calls it the Abomination. Others call it Big Kahuna. I got this from Mr. Sealy P's channel. He did say he got it from someone else. I can't remember who. Whether they got it from someone else or not, I don't know. But it's quite a different configuration. But nonetheless, it's very interesting. So I'll bring up the help with this one just so I know what attachment I'm talking to or controlling at the time. So we'll unfold our disc spine. We'll lower and unfold the front pottinger. We'll unfold that disc spine, and then that one we need to rotate out using our mouse button, our left mouse button, and moving it to the right hand side. Okay, so that's what it looks like before we start, and what we'll do now is we'll start everything up. So we turned on and lowered the disc spines. Pottinger and pottinger. So there we go. So we're all up and ready to go. Alright, put on cruise control. So as you can see, the disc spines rotate out. And there we have it. So we have a nice wide, basically 5 lanes of cut grass. It is more difficult to control. I will give it that. Turning's not ideal in it, but if you're just doing straight up and down runs, it works fine. It's very quick, it's very efficient, but yeah, obviously it's not the easiest thing to control and use. What you can do though is as you're driving along, if you want to narrow it down because you're going to a narrow area, you can actually bring in one of the disc spines, as simply as that. So then it narrows down what you're doing, and you can take it back out again. Okay, and then turn it on, and you're away again. Okay, so that's as I said, Farmer Klein calls it the Abomination. Others call it the Big Kahuna. I don't really have a name for it, but it's definitely good fun. I used this for quite some time, playing around with it on what's the name of the map? Is it Klein House or something like that? Where there's lots and lots of grass. Had a ball. So yep, that's another configuration for you to look at. I know not many will actually use it. It's not exactly pretty, and it's not really user friendly, but if you've got a lot of grass to cut, you want to do it quickly, and you don't mind using another tractor or someone else to come behind you with a windrow and then collect all the grass, it's certainly an option. So there you have it, the Big Kahuna, the Abomination, or the wide mowing system. Okay, on to the next one. So when it comes to transporting things around, sometimes you'd like to be able to take a couple of extra things. You may like to take 2 headers to a field, for instance. Normally there's not been much of a solution to that other than actually just taking 2 tractors, using a Follow Me or someone else in a multiplayer farm. But as much as it may not be very realistic, there is a solution, and that's again using the Lemken Gigant 800. And this time we've actually got 2 headers trailers sitting behind. So we've going up to the field, and we've got 2 combines working up there, but we need the headers transported up. This is certainly one way to get them up there quickly and efficiently, even though it takes up 2 lanes of a highway. Maneuvering is very good, as you can see. It doesn't get tied up. Does need a big turning circle, but it's quite efficient. Turning through the streets isn't that bad either. So we'll just go through here. As you can see, turns okay. There will be some times where you may not be able to get through very easily, but in general it's a good little trick to doing. Now, not all trailers or attachments can be done in this way. It's a bit of trial and error. Even though they may have the same attachment, some of them for some reason will not work in this configuration. But anyway, you know now you can do it with header trailers. So there you go. All right, off to the next one. So most people that have seen me or seen some of my mod reviews, particularly the mod review on the GTX Mods custom road train pack, you'll know that I love to set up road trains and maximise the cartridge capability at some stages, even though it may not be realistic. This one here, it's a relatively new trailer I found. I think it was relatively new on the Mod Hub, and it's become what I'm coined the phrase a baggage handler special, and you'll probably see why in a minute. So it's the J&M trailer, which I've just recently done a mod review on, but they're daisy chained. So as you can see, I've got a few of them lined up there. So the advantage with this is smaller trailers, shorter wheelbase. They have a front steering axle, which means they're more manoeuvrable. Relatively good turning circle, even with a long chain, and that gives you the capacity. So it's again, may not be entirely realistic, but it's another option you have available to you, and it's one that I'm certainly having a bit of fun with at the moment. And as we always say, remember, we're playing a game. It's not playing for sheep stations, so to speak. Okay, so that's one of our cartridge solutions. All right, off to the next one. And the last one I've got to show you today is another cartridge solution. I think there was a post on Mr. Sealy P's Facebook page actually that had something similar to this, but I have been playing around with this for a little while now and just come out with different configurations. And I'm currently using a 6-bin grass collection. I was trying to get it to work with some what's those? What do you call them? I've got a mind block. Mind blank. Forage harvester. I was going to try and use a forage harvester to collect it, and it will go to the first 2 trailers, but it has trouble filling up the last. But in any case, the other one I was doing was just basically going to my storage area where I generally will do a drop-off point for the grass and then have some conveyor belts loading up. So it was just a matter of just going and loading up. And again, as much as it may not be really realistic, the configuration of the trailers is very good in the fact that the distance of separation is just enough for you to be able to do some very tight turning without them actually coming into contact like that. Okay, so still very manoeuvrable. And yeah, so a bit of good fun. Again, not very realistic, but hey, it's a game. You do what you want to do. So that's just another thing that I've been mucking about with. You may or may not see in a Let's Play or somewhere else. All right. Anyway, that's all I have for you with this Lord of the Grass special today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you may have got something out of it, or you may just now think that I am totally and utterly nuts. But at the end of the day, I do enjoy the mowing aspect of the game, and yeah, so that's what keeps me going and keeps me entertained. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave your comments, likes, suggestions. If you have any other ideas of configurations or something I may want to look at and enjoy, then please feel free to leave a comment below. And again, if you just think I'm nuts, tell me that as well. Eustace does that quite regularly. So again, hope you enjoyed it. I'll leave it there, and we'll chat with you again soon. See you later. Bye.